We'll try again, Neil. How about that?
Yes.
We'll try again. First little take that went tits up there, Neil. So there you bloody go. Anyway, welcome to Paralytic Activities Podcast, episode 7. We are your one-stop shop for all things spooky, kooky, weird, and bloody outrageous. All done with light-hearted banter and an ale or two. Because Neil, it's true what they say. Even the darkest places need a bit of light.
You're right.
I am. That's why I said it.
Yeah, well, that's saying.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm John. He's Orange. And what have we got tonight? I can hear you all ask. Well, I'll tell you. I want to drink your blood.
Dracula.
It is Dracula, Neil. We are sinking our teeth straight into vampires. From the Lost Boys to the Chupacabra in the Cryptid factor, with our expert, the Riddler, One Tech Walker. Another Orange spills the juice. Well, it's not Orange spills the juice tonight. It's Orange spills the blood. You know, vampires sucking blood and all that malarkey.
I don't know about the sucking, John, but there was definitely
Well,
blood there.
there was some blood there. Whether you were sucking, I don't know. That's up for you and Jack. What you get into after a rave is totally up to you.
Shut up, Dick Splat.
And it's the rave to the nearly grave, or,
as I like to call it, the last gash.
It's been a while.
Unfortunately.
And we're going to throw some Dracula shit in, just for good measure. So, also, Orange, no doubt, has a song for your viewing pleasure and your listening pleasure, for your ears, to go with the show, Neil.
I have,
Is that true? Have you got that?
I have got it, John.
Fan-bloody-tastic. But first, we have a paranormal ale. What have we got tonight, kid? What have we got tonight?
Well, John, you know I like to give it the theme, don't you?
Well, yeah, you do, yeah.
I'll try my best to give it the theme.
He
Right?
does.
And it's from the Lost Boys Brewery, John.
Fan-bloody-tastic.
You know, I don't think anything to do with the film Lost Boys. They am called the Lost Boys Brewery. And it is a Belgian golden ale. I know it looks a bit golden. It looks a bit flat. But it is pretty strong. It's like, 4.8. You know, on the old...
Well, do you know, I hate flat beer, just like I hate my women flat. Yeah, I always like a bit of body to me alcohol, just like me bloody women. Just ask the wife.
Apparently, it delivers a soft and fruity taste of refreshing fruit. I can taste the fruit.
Tastes like piss.
Well, I think it's the name, John. That's what I'm just trying to give it a show, John.
Yeah, it's a bit shit.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to give it the show. Get the
yes, I know, Neil. But for me,
whether it's shit or not,
it's one of the worst beers I've had for a long time.
Seriously?
Yeah. It is.
Well, wait till we do the Frosty Jacks week.
Yeah, so I'll probably give that about 2.5.
It's out of the best.
2.5 on the fucking ale scale. I'm absolutely distraught.
I'll give it a 4.
Absolutely distraught.
4 out of 5.
Actually, I'm cutting this podcast right now. I'm off to the shop. I'm going to go and get myself some proper craft beer.
It's pretty flat, hey? Look.
It ain't off.
I used to make homebrew.
You sure that I calling?
I used to make homebrew, John.
Yeah.
Back in the day, in the 90s, yeah. My own lager, right? But I never used to know how to get an head on it. Right? So
you're not good at head? Is that what you're saying?
Not really, but it was strong, though, so put a lot of sugar in there.
Yeah.
That's what I was told, anyway.
Okay.
And it was strong, but I called it flat as fuck. Because there was no fucking gas in it at all.
It was just flat as fuck?
Yeah, it was flat as fuck.
Is this it?
It tastes like it.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, that's paranormal ale done for tonight. Absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. Anyway, Neil, we need to read through a few comments from last week's episode. An American white thing in London. First comment, Neil, from the Warsaw Mothman himself.
Oh, I seen him today, John.
Did you?
Yeah, he's flogged.
Was he?
Yeah, he was, flapping his wings.
100 mile an hour, chasing after litter.
He was. He had a big bag of Dick Whittington with a bag on the end.
Anyway, this is what he says. He says, lads, a great listen again. Laugh my fucking arse off. That's exactly what he said. His words, not mine. And he was laughing his arse off at the Ellie Simmons swimming in the shallow end. Which was a funny comment, wasn't it, Neil?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
We've also got another comment from Simonares41. Simonares41 off YouTube, Neil, off YouTube. He's put brilliant podcast. I really enjoyed it. And Hayley Hoodwink also said, "Hey guys, good. Hey guys, tell you what the Goonies is it? Hey guys,
baby roll.
Hey guys, good to see you again."
Oh, bless you.
And a good friend all the way from New Zealand. He said, Mr. Mark Wahlberg now.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Mark Wahlberg. He loved it. And it's also one of his favourite movies too, American Wealth in London. And you two never fail to tickle my fancy. What he means by that, I don't know.
Well, I have been in a dark room with him before, John.
Did you tickle both his fancies?
Well, he thought it was a spirit.
Sure it was Jacqueline Dixon. No, it was like
Jacqueline.
Hans Dixon, that's the caller.
Not Mr. Tickle Aries, I'll tell you.
And a Gina Morley, Neil, she said, "Love the podcast. Also, never understood how they got from Yorkshire to London," which, like I said, you know, the attacks were in Yorkshire on the Yorkshire moors.
Yeah.
But they took David to London, American Wealth in London. Exactly. Well, she was telling me that the biggest hospital in the country is in fucking Yorkshire.
God.
So have some of that. So that's what I said. American Wealth in Yorkshire probably doesn't have the right ring to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She was, "There's nothing wrong with us Yorkshire folk. I could tell me. I could tell me."
The Aunt Bessie files. Nah, I can't say more.
And she said, "I also agree with the Hulk Hogan being the shaved white thing."
I'll tell you. I said it.
All this time, the WWE, they had a cryptid in their midst, Neil.
John, they've probably got more than one. So I think the Ultimate Warrior was something to do with the Great Cryptid, John, because he was off his tits.
And what about Macho Man?
Macho Man.
I mean,
yeah.
If you've imagined, they've shaved a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
For the Macho Man. You know what I mean?
They're all mental, man.
Yeah.
I don't think they were born on this planet, John, I'll be honest with you.
Hayley Summergill, she said, "You wanted suggestions for the podcast. What about Zombievers?"
That sounds like a good... Are you going to join us, Hayley?
And Rachel Hellhoot, that is a real name, and she goes, "It was brilliant. David the Werewolf from Woolworths. So funny. Keep them coming."
Oh, bless you.
And Hayley Summergill also said, "Glad I watched the end on YouTube because it was bloody priceless." You know, when we fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
Because we weren't going to... Well, we record it every week, but we never put it on YouTube because we want it as an audio. But I thought, do you know what? Sorry, I'd had a few beers, hadn't I? So I thought I'll put it on YouTube, and you know, and like what's like it's you're just seeing how we do the podcast basically.
We don't even concentrate. Like
no, I don't even look at the screen.
I don't even look at the screen. Nothing, you know.
Don't even look at it.
I guess that's it, John.
No, we're good. Yeah, you got one. Anyway, so we'll just crack on with the show, Neil. The shit ale is ready to go, and we've done the old intros. And another thing about our podcast, if you want to go and check it out, if you're watching this now, you'll probably know where we are. We're on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Deezer, and you can watch us on YouTube as well. So it's all good in the hood, Neil.
Yes,
that's what it is. Let's move on with our next little section. Guess the horror shit title. Because it's a shit horror film, shit title. You get the drift.
Oh yeah, it's a shit title,
Shit title. So I love horror, and I've scoured the interweb, Neil, for obscure horror titles that Orange has no idea about at all. Because one, he very rarely watches them, and two, I can guarantee you he's never watched these. No. So Neil, first movie that you don't know anything about, I want you to tell me what it's about. You'll probably get this one. It's quite easy. Number one. Vampire Horse from Outer Space. What's it about?
Oh, God. I reckon it's about...
Take a stab in the dark.
Yeah, I reckon it's about, obviously, vampire women. A bit like, prostitutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they suck more on your blood. Well,
you'd hope so, wouldn't you?
I hope so, yeah.
So you're close now, you're close. I'll move on with this one because it's quite easy. Their spaceship crash lands, and a vampire horse from outer space begins sucking a small town dry in more ways than one, if you know what I mean. And it's up to a pair of high school sweethearts and the inept local law enforcement to stop them. Basically, that is the kind of the storyline of a vampire whores from outer space.
I tell you what,
Sounds like a cracker to
I wouldn't
me.
mind watching that
Sounds
by
like a
myself.
cracker. Film number 2. This is called The Horror of the Hungry Humagus Hungen. Neil, what the fuck is that about?
The horror of the what?
The Horror of the Hungry Humongous Hungen.
Jesus Christ. I don't know what it sounds like, Charlie.
The Horror of the Hungry Humongous is in big,
Yeah.
Hungen.
What's an onion, John?
What's it? I don't know, Neil. What's it about?
It's obviously about some fat fucker who likes to eat, yeah?
Well, the tagline is "There's a new mouth in town."
Exactly. So he eats fucking everything.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, more than kind of thing. But what is it? What is a Hungen?
The onion is probably, I don't know, he sounds like somebody from Russia or something.
Hungry.
Yeah,
An hungry Hungen.
Hungry onion, huh?
Yeah, it sounds like one of them games from Mattel. You know what I mean? Yeah, Hungry Apart. They got the Hungry Hungen.
Uh-huh. No franchise, eh?
So the storyline is this: it's a genetic experiment gone wrong unleashed an ancient voodoo curse that produces a masticating. I did say masticating. I know what you're thinking. It's not masturbating.
Oh.
It's masticating monster with an appetite for terror. Neil, that's what it is.
For terror.
For terror. And to kind of describe what this monster looks like, is like a humongous Jerry Springer. If you can see there.
Jesus, is he right?
There you go, Jerry Springer. That is the humongous Hungen. It's a B classic, Neil. Well, I wouldn't say it's a classic. I've got a couple of reviews, Neil. So utterly bad and worthless, it really needs to be seen. Say no more about that.
I tell you what, I'd watch that.
And as for the vampire horse from outer space, there's one of the aliens looks like the Mask. You know, Jim Carrey, the Mask.
Yeah.
And there's a whore there as well. As you go, there's the Mask. Where is he? There he is. There he is. Smoking.
How old's that, John?
I have no idea, Neil.
I wonder if they got the mask from that. He looks like the mask, doesn't
It does look like the Mask. Could have done, Neil. It could have well done. So, Neil, we're just going to move on with the old episode. And obviously, it's all about vampires. You know what I mean? We love a good vampire, don't we, Neil?
Oh, yeah. I love a good bloodsucker.
So, I've got a question for you, Neil. And anybody out there who is listening to this, see if you know the answer to this question. What does vampire bloody mean? What does it mean? What does it mean, Neil?
Vampire?
Yeah.
Is this somebody who lives off blood?
Well, we kind of know that, but what does it mean? What is a vampire?
Well,
we know they don't exist.
Yeah.
But they do in some kind of respects, and I'll go through that in a minute.
Is it some kind of judge?
A judge?
Well, you got umpire. Umpire is like a referee.
Yeah.
And it's poya, the same as but a and a van.
So you're trying to say that a vampire is someone who plays cricket in a cape?
Maybe.
There's a bat involved as well.
Yeah,
I suppose.
Well, he did play snooker. Ray Reardon.
Neil, a vampire is a mythical creature that subsists by feeding on the vital essence, Neil. And I don't even say what you think the vital essence is. We've already had like cock-sucking whores. You know what I mean? We've already gone on about what you want to watch on your own. But now it's generally in the form of blood. They want to suck the blood of the living.
I just said that.
Yes, I know. And in European folklore, vampires are undead creatures that often visited loved ones and caused mischief or deaths in the neighbourhood, which they inhabited while they were alive.
Bloody hell.
So there you go. So where does the word vampire come from, Neil? Where do you think it comes from? And I'll say out of a book.
No, it's got to come from Transylvania.
Close.
I'd say Romania.
Very close. I'll just stop you there.
WrestleMania.
1, 2, you're out. The word vampire has its roots in the Mediterranean languages. The earliest reference to the word arises from the Slavonic Magyar from vam, which means blood, and pyre or monster. The name itself defines the nature of an otherwise unexplained phenomena.
Yeah.
So, Vam and Pyre together. Says vampire. How about that? Just simple as that, really.
That's it, it is.
So there you bloody go. So we're just going to go flying right in to some vampire myths and legend. So there, we're going to start with the man himself, the Don, Neil. The Don. We're starting with the Don, the main vampire of all time, the son of the dragon. And I don't mean Bruce Lee or Brandon Lee, and I don't mean Daenerys' kids either from Game of Thrones. It is a Vlad of a Wallachshire. Sounds like someone from Lord of the Rings. So Vlad of Wallachshire, better known as Vlad the Impaler. That's what he's. That's what he's known. Vlad the Impaler.
What was the Impaler? Because he used to impale people.
Well, that's exactly where he got the name from, obviously, because he impales people.
Yeah.
And it's most likely the root of several vampire legends, including Dracula. He would impale his enemies on stakes, hence his nickname. And some stories would even claim that good old Vlad would eat bread. Would eat bread that has been dipped in his enemy's blood.
So you're telling me?
Dirty bastard.
Can I just say one thing?
You can say
so
one
we used
thing.
to go down the local supermarket to the bread aisle and buy bread as a vampire.
No, he wasn't a vampire, Neil. He was just a leader of an army, basically. He was a Vlad of a Wallachshire. He was the kind of the leader, and he used to impale people and that's where it's all a myth. So he loved blood, and he used to dip his bread in his enemy's blood as he's impaled them.
Jesus.
It's just like you used to do at the when we used to go down to the what's the Albion? You had your bovril.
Yeah.
Have your bovril with there dipping your bread in? Do you know what I mean?
I never used to dip bread in it, John.
Oh, I did.
I've never seen. When I'm in the search, yeah.
Yeah.
And you got a loaf in your pocket.
Okay. All right, I'll stop. When I used to be at work, when I worked in Sutton at Appray, me and Richard Longwell, we used to sit at the back with the game on full, even though we were supposed to be working, with 2 cups of bovril and some bread, and pretended that we was actually at the game.
You're weird. Seriously.
Well, yeah, that's what we used to do. Because
How old was you?
Don't matter, Neil. I wasn't there with the rattle and with me kit on. We was in Chef White's. But we had the game on full, and we'd there be sipping bovril in the car park, dipping bread in it, a bit like Vlad.
Where are you all now?
Number 2, Neil. The legend of the Blood Countess. Countess Elizabeth Bathory, who lived from 1560 to 1614 in Hungary, like the Hungan, was accused of vampire behaviour. You're a vampire, bitch. Have that cross garlic.
Boy, what the accused her of, John?
I will tell you right now. Biting the flesh of victims and bathing in their blood as a beauty treatment.
How much blood did she have?
Well, no. Well, it wasn't her blood. It was the blood of her victims, Neil.
Oh, no.
And she bathed it in like a bath. Do you know what I mean?
Like a blood bath.
A bloodbath, exactly.
Is that where it come from?
It could be. All from Elizabeth Bathory.
That's why they call it a blood bath.
No, it's like Cleopatra used to bathe in milk.
Yeah.
This sick bitch. In the blood of her enemies.
You know, the milk she used to bathe in, was it pasteurised?
Using someone's arm to scrub her down with her back.
you know the milk she used to bathe in?
Yeah.
Was it pasteurised, like? Or was it just below her tits?
You don't know, but these Egyptians, Neil.
Well,
you don't know, but I can just imagine her using an arm as a loofah, scratching the back. You know, if because obviously dead arms get rigor mortis, so you can actually bend the finger, so it's upright like that. You know, you can get down there and give.
Give it other places as well, John.
give your old crack a good scratch. You know what I mean? You know, because they didn't have loofahs in them days. I wouldn't have thought. They just used the limbs of the dead.
Jesus.
Number 3, Neil, the legend of the KA, and I don't mean the car. The legend of the car, KA. Egyptians also had their share of vampire lore and bloodsuckers. The Egyptian goddess Sekhmet.
Sekhmet.
You went to school with her, didn't you?
That was your brother Mehmet.
I was known for a taste for blood, And according to the Egyptian Book of the Dead, it is certain. According to the Egyptian Book of the Dead, if a certain part of the soul called the Ka, don't be in the car, didn't receive adequate offerings, it left the tomb to drink blood.
Yeah.
Jesus, God, it's funny. So that's the legend of the Ka.
Okay.
And now in China, Neil, the legend of the Xiangxi, the legend of the Xiangxi vampires had long hooked claws and red eyes, a bit like you after on a Friday night, about 3 a.m, watching old rave videos. Now, in Chinese vampire legends, they were known as Qiangxi, which translates to corpse hopper. That's what it translates to, Neil. Translates to, that's all it says. I'm sorry. You know, Google has got its limits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It has its limits. And number 5, Neil, the plague vampires. During the sixth, I've got to stop laughing. I've got to compose myself now because I'm not going to finish this at all. During the 16th century, let me just pause. Let me just have a quick drink, Neil. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, that's made it worse. During the 16th century, it was believed that vampires fed off the bodies of plague victims, and that female vampires spread the plague. Neil, that's what they're saying.
It's always a woman, eh? Have you noticed?
Sorry to any females listening.
In the past.
In the past. Those suspected of being vampires were even buried with rocks or bricks wedged in their mouths. That sounds painful. So not only are you being buried in rocks, they're just going to put one in your gob just to, soften the blow, as it were. Ridiculous. But that was the plague, Neil. That was the plague. Number 6, Neil. This is the legend of the after devourers, or the after devourers. Again in the 16th century, this time in good old Germany. Stories about the dead rising. The superstitious people of Germany called vampires the Nashahira. I sound like Mad Dog Max.
Sound like Craig over the road.
Yeah, the Nashahira. I think that's what it says. My German's not the best. Or after devourers, because they never left their graves, but instead gnawed on their burial shrouds. This belief was because the posthumous release of bodily fluids would make the burial shrouds wilt and fray like they've been chewed.
Ooh.
So there you go, Neil.
Very interesting.
All around the world for years and years and years, there's always been some kind of a vampire legend, Neil. Now, I was going to mention this other vampire. I wouldn't say is a legend. Is a bit of a shit, to be fair. And I'm not going to do it because he was that evil, Neil.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in America, and he's actually called the Vampire of Sacramento. Now, if you've got a strong stomach and you like weird and horrible and what's the word I'm looking for? Just nasty shit. Google the Vampire of Sacramento and read what he did. Or better still, our good friends of Robots for Eyes podcast, they've done a podcast on the Vampire of Sacramento. Absolutely shocking. If you like that kind of stuff. So I was going to include him, but we're a bit more light-hearted than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you do find out about him, you'll know why. Dirty bastard. Anyway, we'll move on to...
He's one below Jimmy Savile. There you go.
No, he's well above Jimmy Savile.
Is he?
Well above.
Oh, God.
Well above,
Well,
Neil. You
too.
wouldn't believe it. So, number 7, Neil. Now, this is a real story. This is the Rhode Island vampire. Now, one of the most famous real-life vampires was Mercy Brown, a young woman from 1800s Rhode Island who had died of tuberculosis, but was believed to be preying on other members of her family as a vampire. Her body was found still containing some decayed blood, so the townspeople burned her heart and liver. They fed the ashes into water. A surviving brother, hoping it would protect him from the next consumption, of obviously what it kind of means like that is that he don't want this Mercy Brown woman to come back, even though they've burnt her heart and that, to come back and suck his blood.
Bit of a trick that, if we could do that.
Do you know, if it works, Neil, you do it, don't you?
Well,
last thing you want to do is, you've been out, you've had a couple of beers, you've had a kebab, you've just watched It Man and Her, Clyde and McAllister have done their stuff, and you're lying in bed, and this dead bitch is sucking blood out your neck. I've had worse nights. I've had worse nights, to be fair, Neil. I have, yeah. Anyway, I need to compose myself, Neil. I'm not going to lie. After that was tough. I couldn't stop laughing. And a little touch of the giggles there, Neil. So with all this blood supping, it's made me thirsty. Apart from that shit we're drinking here, we're just going to take a little break, and then we'll come back with Orange Spills the Juice, or the blood, as it were. Come on, Carp, the door. Let me do it. I love it that they can't actually hear us while this music's playing.
You know what I did the other day, John? You won't believe what I did the other day.
What did you do?
I run nettles on my bollocks for a lap, just as a bet, like.
Yeah.
And for 4 cans of ales from Cafe Metro.
No, you say you got stung then.
Yeah, John, I'll tell you. It was very, very sticky.
Yeah, we need to get that podcast. And just like that, we're back. I'm glad I had that drink, then my throat was dry.
Yeah, mate, John.
I just love that fact when we can put this music on. We can take a little break.
Yeah.
And we can just do what we want,
Yeah.
and then we can press play and away we go.
Just a little breather, ain't it?
So I need a breather after that little laughing fit. So Neil, we're going to go straight into Orange Spills the Blood, not the juice this week. Orange Spills the Blood. The rave to the nearly grave incident, or as you call it,
the last gash, which is very sad. Trust me.
It is.
Anyway,
Neil, take it away, kid. Get by that microphone.
Oh, well. Me and Jack McAvoy went to a Stoke at an all-day rave. Boozing all day till 2 a.m. in the morning. It was a bit worse for wear, to be honest. Went back to the hotel, had a few more beers, absolutely bollocks. We've been on an investigation night before, John.
Okay.
When it all happened, I blamed that someone following me back. Anyway, absolutely wankered. I'm going to tell you what I remember.
Come on.
That's all I can do, John. I remember going to sleep in the middle of the night, and it felt like somebody come in the room and smashed a champagne bottle out of my head, John. That's what it felt like.
Like they did on the ship when they put in the ship into water.
Yeah. That's what it was like. Yeah, it was on a string as well. After I felt the impact, and I was knocked out for probably about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I woke up, I couldn't see nothing. Then I realised I was on the floor on my back, and all this liquid was running down my face, and I thought to myself, that's blood.
Yeah. You was with Jack.
Yeah, that's blood. Anyway, it was blood. Then I realised I was in a bit of bother. It was gushing out my head, John. I managed to stand up, shouting, "Jack, help me, please." I heard a bang, and he fell out the bed. out of his bed.
Well, you weren't in bunk beds, was you?
No. I managed to find the light after about putting 10 blood-stained prints on the walls, John.
Good song.
You know what I mean? I could see out of one eye, while the one hanging out my trousers.
One eye, really?
Yeah. Put the light on. I think Jack was crawling, trying to find his glasses, like he did a bush tucker trial.
Okay.
Trying to find a star.
I'm Velma from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, because he's blind as a bat anyway. Right.
I'm trying to find a star.
Right. After the klaxon had sounded, he finally found his glasses. He looked up and said, "What the fuck has happened to you?" I said, "I've not got a clue what's happened to me, John. I don't even know what happened." So I went into the bathroom, tried to stop the bleeding. I couldn't. I thought, fuck it. The blood was dry, and it will clot itself. You know what I mean? I was still fucking mad, John. Right.
It's a good job the blood count has died turn up.
John, I got up the next day. I felt like Michael Flatley be river dancing on my head, man. I looked at the bed and the walls, the bathroom, the towels, everything was covered in blood. Everything, John. The room was like an halal butcher's. I told the receptionist what had happened. She said she's going to take pictures of the bedroom and decide if they was going to get our deposit back. And I went to the hospital on the Monday. This happened on the Saturday night.
Yeah.
Right, and they put stitches in it, and now I've got a scar on my head. I'll look at the camera. I've got a real scar. What's that way? It's there.
It's there,
Okay,
Neil.
it's that
It's there,
one.
you bomb pot.
That one.
Yeah,
Scar
don't
on
know
me.
his left and right, people. Don't know his
Yeah.
left and right.
But yeah, I should not have gone back to sleep.
But you did.
Oh, John, honestly, I was
You
knackered.
could have bled to death, Neil.
Maybe, but I took that chance.
So that's why I called it rave to the early grave.
Well, yeah, that's what it could have been. But I still, to this day, don't know what happened.
You could have been attacked by a poltergeist or
John,
something.
it might have been.
Could have been a poltergeist, Neil.
It might have been, John.
Where had we been the night before? Remember?
He went on an investigation. I couldn't think where it was. It was the
Museum.
museum.
The Haunted Museum in
The Haunted
Stoke.
Museum, huh?
The Haunted Museum in Stoke. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of weird stuff happened that day. Honestly, I don't know where it was, but I ain't saying that I got hit by a spirit coming at me over there with a dildo or something. You know what I mean?
What was in your room, Neil? What was in your room? I'm gonna have to have a word with Jack after
No,
this. Telling you.
That's what it felt. It felt like something hit me over there with a bottle. Honestly, John, it was bad.
But people, as you can tell, he lived to tell the tale.
This time,
he's still with us now.
Yeah.
And he's got a nice whopping scar on his head.
I have, yeah.
So it was all good, Neil, at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I've got a scar on my head. I've got a tattoo on my neck, and I still can't get a chick.
Maybe get a patch on your eye.
That ain't bad. I might do later. Chop my hand off and put it up there.
Chop your bloody leg off while you're at it and put a stump there and all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go and join Wayne Truman at the mutiny party in Matlock.
Claim disability.
Yeah, or that. One of the two. Pirate or disability. You can't go wrong, can you?
Hook on my arm, John. I ain't got no problems about doing scratch cards now. More now I need to find a penny or nothing like that.
You'd be able to get gherkins out of a jar.
See that?
A can would probably fit nicely in there.
Probably would.
Neil, it's a win-win.
Something.
When you get home, chop your hand off.
I ain't bad idea. I can even pick pineapple chunks up as well.
Exactly. Have
Okay.
some of that. And on that bombshell, people, we're gonna move on to our other section, which is the cryptid factor.
Oh, we go, aye.
The cryptid factor. This is just our expert's opinion on the Chupacabra, and obviously it goes with the theme of blood and vampires. If you want to look up the cryptid, well, we're going to tell you about it now, so you don't have to. That's a good thing, Neil. That's a good thing. So, our good friend, the Riddler One Tank Walker, is going to deliver us the Chupacabra. Take it away, Riddler.
All right, me mons. As always, strap in. We're off to Puerto Rico to see the Chupacabra, which reportedly sucks the blood of livestock, especially goats. Hence the name Chupacabra, which literally translates to goat sucker. No wonder he's pissed off. He's described as being a heavy creature, reptilian and alien-like, roughly the size of a small bear. Jesus. It's got a row of spines reaching from the neck to the base of its tail. Sounds like some of my exes. Now, I'm on the fence with this one. I don't know. It could be real. You don't know what's out there. And I certainly ain't got a clue what's in Puerto Rico. I couldn't even tell you what their cats look like. But what do you think? Let us know. Ta-ra, me mons.
There you go, Neil. What do you think about the Chupacabra, kid?
So it sucks the blood of goats, yeah?
Yeah.
Why only goats?
Maybe
goats got a different kind of blood, have they?
Maybe there's a lot of goats in Puerto Rico, Neil. Maybe it's the goat capital of the world. I don't know. But the Chupacabra is literally like the Riddler just said. Is a goat sucker. Is a legendary creature in the folklore of parts of the Americas. The name comes from the animal's reported vampirism. Hence, that's why it's our cryptid today, means it's a vampire show. Now, the Chupacabra is said to attack and drink the blood of livestock, including goats. Well, mainly goats, Neil. That's what it is.
Yeah. John, I think I've worked with one of these people.
You probably have, Neil, because I've saw some other people I've worked with and still work
Yeah,
with.
you know, I think he drunk. It's what it is. He had some time off work, yeah.
Yeah.
And he drunk too much blood.
He drunk too much
Yeah, and
blood.
he went to the doctors.
Do you mean alcohol?
No, blood. Blood, John.
He drunk blood.
Yeah, and he was off work like he had gout in his foot.
He had gout.
Yeah.
I used to know a vampire as well. Funny enough, Neil.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. He was a vampire at night, and he was a ballet dancer in the day.
Really?
Yeah. He nicknamed himself Nosferatu.
And you know, something. When I used to go to the raves, John.
Yeah.
You know, I used to go to the raves, and there's a chap who used to work behind the counter,
Oh.
and he looked like Dracula. He works in the cloakroom.
I reckon it's the same bloke, you know. Oh, I knew who got sacked on his first day from the blood bank for drinking on the job.
Yeah.
I reckon it's the same bloke, Neil.
Maybe, John, maybe.
Anyway, let's get back to the old Chupacabra. He's generally described as an heavy creature, reptilian and alien-like, roughly the size of a small bear, like the Riddler said. He's got a row of spines reach from the neck to the base of the tail, and he's depicted more like a dog, Neil, a big dog, basically. Tell you what, don't let the Mothman find out, because he'll be hurling him right over the fence.
He will.
Now, obviously, the initial sightings are in Puerto Rico, but as far north as Maine and as far as Chile, and even outside the Americas in countries like Russia and the Philippines.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. In 1975, a series of livestock killings were in a small town of Muckas. Nothing to do with coffee.
Muckas?
Yeah, Muckas. It was suspected that the killings were committed by a satanic cult, Neil. That's what the first thought. That it's not going to be a big, massive dog the size of a bear with spines all down its back, big claws and eyes and big teeth. No, that it's just going to be a satanic cult. That's what they thought. But more killings were reported around the island. Animals were lost. It was reported to their bodies were bled dry through a small series of circular incisions. So something was biting them and sucking them.
A bit like a mosquito.
Yeah, like a mosquito bite. But obviously the size of a bear, with spines running down its back.
That's a big mosquito.
Big teeth and red eyes.
Jesus Christ.
Now, the first reported attack eventually attributed to the actual Chupacabras, and it occurred in March 1995. 8 sheep were discovered dead in Puerto Rico, each with 3 puncture wounds in the chest area and reportedly completely drained of blood, Neil. A few months later, in August, an eyewitness named Madeline Tolentino, nothing to do with Quentin, reported seeing the creature in the Puerto Rico town of Canovanas, where as many as 150 farm animals and pets were reportedly killed. That damn Chupacabra.
Terrible, man.
I've got a picture of him there if you want to see.
Oh, yeah.
This is what people think he looks like. It's what he looks like. He looks like that.
Jesus Christ.
Explain what you think he looks like from that picture. And why has he got a bird in his hand?
Even he's got a bird on his arm, John.
No, yeah.
What an ugly guess, eh?
No, that's the Chupacabra. If you can see that right there. There he is. Good looking fella. Big eyes, spines down his back.
John, he looks like a wrestler again.
He does, doesn't he?
What are they going to do?
No,
They had spikes on him as well.
no, who was the Mexican wrestler, Neil? The little fucker.
Oh,
You know what I mean? I
yeah,
can't remember his name.
Yeah, the tattoo on his.
Yeah, and he never took his mask off.
Yeah.
What was his name?
It was Corey's favourite.
Oh, do you know, Dennis Glenn.
Yeah.
Because he commented about bloody Ashley Dickinson.
Did they?
Ashley, what's her name, Neil? Ashley Dixon.
Alicia Dixon.
Alicia Dixon on last week's show, and he's going to tell us who this bloody wrestler is.
I know who he is, John.
Oh, what's his name?
Rey
Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio, that's him.
The one.
Yeah, up yours, Dennis. We ain't
Yes.
going to get us this week, kid.
It ain't.
So it looks like so the Chupacabra looks like Rey Mysterio from the wrestling. Basically, in a nutshell, Neil.
Yeah.
In a nutshell. Oh, brilliant. I do love a good cryptid, Neil.
Yeah.
And the Riddler loves a good cryptid.
I know he does.
God knows what he's got for us next week.
He studies them, don't he, by the
He does. He's the cryptid expert of the West Midlands.
Yeah.
He is.
The new Gordon Birds of the cryptid factor.
And this one what he sent us this week, Neil, and I swear down right now, he didn't have to Google it. He didn't research it or nothing because he's on his holidays in Skegness.
Is he?
Yeah, he's on his holidays in good old Skeg Vegas, and he just goes, "I know everything about the Chupacabra," and he just sent me a voice note
That's unbelievable.
off the top of his head.
Yeah, Chupacabra.
No, that's Rey Mysterio, Neil.
Oh. Yeah, but he could be Rey Mysterio with the hat on.
He could be. He could be.
All right.
Anyway, Neil, I've got a surprise for you.
Have you?
Well, my favourite section. We haven't done this for a while. Flick the screen.
Oh, flip the screen,
Flick
yeah.
the screen. It's our movie section. And tonight, Neil, we're off to Santa Carla,
Yeah.
the murder capital of the world. Enjoy that?
Yes, I enjoy that.
Did you enjoy that, Neil?
Takes me back.
Yeah, so we're off to Santa Carla, the murder capital of the world. The 1987 horror comedy, The Lost Boys, Neil, directed by Joel Schumacher. Neil, in one word, just one word, what are your thoughts on The Lost Boys? One word.
One word. Sensational.
Good word. Good word. I can't beat that, so I'm not going to try. So, yeah, I'm going to go straight into The Lost Boys in a nutshell, Neil.
Watched it last night.
Did ya?
On BBC Three.
I know. I did see your post, but I was in bed.
And I was John.
You ain't more bed, you want. So this is it. This is The Lost Boys in a nutshell. And away we go. Lucy takes her two sons, Michael and Sam, to Santa Carla to stay with their grandpa in California, in Santa Carla. The two boys go to a local amusement fair to see what Santa Carla has to offer. There's punks, there's rockers, there's transients, there's emos, there's new romantics, there's freaks, and yes, Neil, you've guessed it,
Vampire.
an oil-slick topless man with metal chains blasting out a banger with a saxophone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
So there you go. Now, Michael meets Star. Whoa, I tell you what.
She was absolutely beautiful.
And David, the leader of the Lost Boys, and the rest of the Lost Boys. And yes, they're vampires, Neil, apart from Star, who is only half a vampire. Now, I don't mean that she's only 3 feet tall.
Why is she only half a vampire?
Because she hasn't killed anybody yet.
Right.
That's why she's half a vampire. She's been bitten by a vampire, but she needs to kill someone to be a full vampire, basically. Now Sam meets the Frog Brothers. They're a cross between Rambo and Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
Edgar and Alan, who claim that vampires are in Santa Carla. Now David takes Michael into a cave where a big Jim Morrison poster hangs looking down like a god, because that's where he was, a god. They're worms, Michael. Don't be daft. They're maggots, Michael. Rack off. Here's some wine, Michael. It's David's blood. Oh, yeah, right. Have some of that. He slugs it right down. Michael, 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 Michael. And stop.
Bravo!
Michael is said hundreds of times in the film now.
Yeah.
And apparently, because the runtime is whatever minute it is, Michael is said every minute through the whole film. Michael, you're one of us now, Michael. Now, Sam finds out his brother is now one of the undead, a shit-sucking vampire, as he says. Now, Sam decides to help Michael with the help from the old Froggoth brothers. David and the Lost Boys are having a whale of a time, killing and feeding for fun. If you kill the head vampire, all the other vampires will turn back. Who is the head vampire? I don't know. In the meantime, Lucy is getting it on with Max, the owner of a video store. It's the 80s. Why? I don't know. Who is Max? I don't know. The frogs, along with Sam and Star, find the Lost Boys cave and stake one of them. Then they do one, as you do. You dead meat! It goes dark. The vampires attack Sam and Michael's house. The Lost Boys die one by one. Michael and David have a duel to the death. If we kill David, everyone turns back to normal. Have that, David, you shit, you leather-clad bombshell. As he dies with two horns right up his jotter. But no one changes. David isn't the head vampire.
What a waste. What a waste.
In steps Max from the video store. So that's why he's in the film.
Yeah.
He is the head vampire. Now, just as Max gets the upper hand, a car comes through the kitchen, killing Max, driven by Grandpa. Grandpa slowly walks over to the fridge and delivers the immortal line, "One thing about living in Santa Carla, I could never stomach all the damn vampires." Roll credits.
People are strange when they're strangers. Faces go ugly when you're alone. Yeah.
Thanks for that. That, my friends, was The Lost Boys in a nutshell. What a film, Neil! What
John,
a film!
I watched it again last night.
I can't tell you how this film makes me feel.
Yeah.
It touches every emotion.
John, a film as good as that with such a good soundtrack.
Well, I'm going to go on to the soundtrack in a minute because, like, the acting's great. It's comedy. It's horror. It's got an awesome cast. Joel Schumacher actually stated that is one of the best casts ever assembled, Neil.
It would not surprise me.
Even Lucy was an Oscar winner.
Yeah.
She was an Oscar winner.
John, how cool were them motherfucking vampires, man?
They was cool motherfucking vampires.
That was cool.
That's exactly what they was. But, you know, you got this
Bombs
great
away.
cast. You got this great cast.
Nothing like Mark,
But-
how do I?
Marco Polo means. But Neil, one thing the Lost Boys have got, no other film has got. They've got a man with muscles covered in baby oil playing a saxophone on the beach, surrounded by fire. It doesn't get better than that.
Yes, well,
It doesn't get better than that. Neil, it's pure 80s.
it is, John.
And it's so much better than the guff Hollywood is putting out right now. And it's,
It
you
is,
know,
yeah.
1987, Neil.
It's,
Even the special effects were good.
Yeah.
But I have got a couple of questions, Neil.
Yeah.
I always have a little... No movie's ever perfect.
Yeah.
It's very close. Very close. But no film is ever perfect. So I've got a question for you. If Santa Carla is the murder capital of the world, why the fuck would Grandpa allow Lucy to bring her kids there? And also, he knew that it was full of vampires. Answer that, Grandpa.
Well, he knew he was on his way out anyway.
he was on his last legs.
Yeah, so it was like a test for it.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Why would he do that?
I don't know, John. I don't know. Obviously, he's like a norm to him living there. You know what I mean?
And I have got another. I have got another question, Neil. Why has Sam, the young lad, got a raunchy picture of Rob Lowe on his wall?
I know. I've seen that yesterday.
What is all that about? Well, I'll come to that in a minute.
Well, I don't know.
It's a
I
tough
ain't
one.
got a man. I ain't got a dog. You say you ain't got a man if you're a guy.
Exactly. Well, this is what I'm going to come to. Now, the Lost Boys might be homosexuals.
John, don't say that.
Neil, it doesn't affect me
I've got
at all.
nothing against homosexuals. But
I'm glad to hear it, Neil.
I ain't.
I'm glad to hear it. But the Lost Boys might be homosexuals. One, they're a group of men. Not one of them a bang star for the start. I mean, that's the first thing you do.
I'll tell you what. I'm on seeing her star.
What a chocolate starfish. Their clothes are designed from the underground gay scene.
Well,
Yeah, their clothes are. Now, David's blood, he drinks David's blood, Neil. That's very gay.
boy.
Why is it not?
Because the vampires, John.
He might have got it out of his cock.
What?
He might have had it out of his cock, you don't know.
Seriously?
But obviously David now is changing. Not David. Michael is changing, you know. And as soon as he feels like David's getting him, he says, "Sod this," and goes and bangs Star.
Yeah.
I'm not changing.
Mm.
I'm a bloody bloke,
Yeah.
basically. And again, Rob Lowe looking all gay on Sam's wall. Something to do with, the Lost Boys, they were outsiders, Neil. They was outsiders. And all these are not my words, people. These are the words of the director, Joel Schumacher.
Go on.
So there you go. And last little thing, what the fuck was with that kite? I still don't know what the scene with the kite. What was all that about? What was it about?
What's the kite with the face on it?
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
know.
only my only gripe is that kite. I don't get it.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't know, John.
So you watched it last night, Neil?
Well, I watched most of it. I need my beauty sleep, don't I?
He does, people. He does need his beauty sleep. So Neil, I've got a couple of facts about the Lost Boys. It might be a movie about hip, young, undead bloodsuckers, but the title of The Lost Boys has its origins outside the horror genre. The film title was directly inspired by J.M. Barrie's time-honoured children's classic, Peter Pan.
Really?
The Lost Boys in Peter Pan, there's characters called the Lost Boys in Peter Pan, basically, and they live on an island. Yeah, so the Lost Boys are a tribe of male youngsters who, like their leader, ran away from home to go to Netherland, where they never grow old or die, much like vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the bonfire attack scene was originally way more gruesome. So you remember the scene around the
Yeah, I do,
bonfire
yeah.
and walk this way,
Yeah.
and it's supposed to be Michael's first kill. Now, obviously, The Lost Boys is far milder than a lot of the R-rated movies at the time, with only moderate swearing and no nudity. However, where the film really rates its R rating is the level of bloodshed, not least when the vampires massacre a group of bikers and punk rockers round a campfire. And Kiefer Sutherland revealed, Neil, as it was when it was originally shot, it was so much more violent. The bit where he bites someone's head,
And it spurts.
yeah. Well, in the original script, he was supposed to eat the whole back of the man's head. So he's gnawing down like a melon,
Yeah.
eating his head like a melon. Yeah.
Oh.
And so he had to bite the head off the man, and blood just went everywhere. And I was directed to smile like a child having cake.
Yeah.
So imagine that. Right, Kiefer.
Yeah.
You're going to chow down on someone's head, and you got to look at the camera, smile like you're eating a cake.
Oh, great, man. Great.
Another fact for you, Neil. David wears gloves to hide his wrist during filming, Neil. Through the whole film, he wears leather gloves. Never takes them off.
I noticed that he's wearing gloves, but all through the film.
All through the film, Neil. And do you know why? He come off his bloody bike and broke his wrist.
Oh.
Yeah.
That during filming?
That was during. Well, it wouldn't be before filming, would it?
Why?
And it definitely wouldn't be after.
How do you know he had a bike, John?
Well, he might have had a push bike.
He might have fell off his bike before filming.
He might have done. But he'd done it while he was filming.
Oh.
So there you go. So, Neil, the soundtrack. For me, it's up there with Rocky and Top Gun.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the best movie soundtrack of all time. You got In Excess, Echo and the Bunnymen, Tim Capello, Roger Daltrey. My favourite, though, is a Power Play by Eddie and the Tide, Neil. That's my favourite, which leads nicely on to Orange's Paranormal Pop Picks. What have you got for us today?
We have got Gerard McMahon.
Gerard McMahon.
McMahon.
They play in the midfield for Liverpool.
Yeah, that's another wrestler. McMahon. Prince McMahon.
Yeah.
Cry Little Sister.
Yeah. Cry Little Sister. What a bloody song.
Sure.
So original as well.
Oh, it's just
original track. It's haunting, Neil. It's haunting. I feel like I'm flying through the clouds when I listen to it.
Yeah. It's just what it's like, eh?
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, it's fantastic. Anyway, Cry Little Sister was wrote for the film The Lost Boys, obviously. Yeah? At the time, he was living in New York City, the place where he described as Gotham, dark vampire place.
Gotham.
Yeah, he described it as a Gotham dark vampire place.
Gothic.
Gotham.
Gothic.
Gotham.
Okay, carry on.
Look, Dracula. Not Dracula. Fucking Batman, John. Stop putting in. So, anyway, it started to come together in the artist's head within half an hour. Mike Main Airy provided an hypnotic beat to and made the tune. Together, McMahon wrote the lyrics in a couple of hours, recorded the demo in 2 days. Later, he had a call from the director, Joel Schumacher, saying the song is nailed it. It's nailed it, John.
He's nailed it.
That was like in couple of days.
Yeah.
They wrote that song.
Fantastic.
Couldn't get my words out because she kept putting in.
No, I butted him once, Neil. Don't blame me because you're stuttering.
Anyway, that song is absolutely fantastic.
It is, Neil. Like I said, it's very haunting.
You never hear it on the radio.
Nearly, I don't think it even got into the charts.
Seriously.
It might have done, but I don't think it went into like the top 10 or 20. I'm not too sure about that.
It's just shocking. Mr. Blogger was Christmas number 1,
Oh, no.
1993.
Neil, Joe Dolce was number 1. We shut up on your face.
Yeah. What the matter you?
Hey!
You know what I mean?
There's no justice in the world, Neil.
I think that song is a masterpiece, and it's perfect for that film. I know they're rich for the film, but it's just perfect, John.
And the song's that good. And the old Gerard McMahon, we haven't heard of him since. He might have been devastated that he didn't beat Shut Up Your Face by Joe Dolce. Do you know what I mean? But there's no justice in the world.
No justice, John. That's what baffles me, John. Really does. But yeah, such a great film, such a great soundtrack. If you ain't seen it, watch it.
If you ain't seen it, where the bloody hell you been? That's what I want to know.
I know somebody who said he said it's a load of shit.
Who is this person?
You don't want to know, John. I'll call, I ain't going to even reveal names, John, because I'm disgusted.
Tell me later.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah, for me, Neil, I think The Lost Boys is in my top 10 of all time.
Yeah, I'm me.
Without a doubt.
I'm me.
Love it. I could watch it anytime. We went to the cinema to watch it last year.
John, how good was that?
It was fantastic.
It was like going back to the 80s.
It was. It was. Neil even had them socks worn up to his knees.
I did, yeah. I had a guitar blaster walking in with a guitar blaster.
Yeah. I had my cap backwards. Like that.
Yeah. Did, yeah. And then I had a yo-yo.
Looking like Ad Rock from the Beastie Boys.
Yeah. You don't look like
Ad
there, John.
I look more like Jim's dad off American Pie.
Yeah. I'd love to go back to the 80s, mate, John.
Yeah, me too, because I'd be young again.
I would be young again.
And I would be a vampire, I can tell you that. I'd eat anybody.
I know, I bet.
I would. I'd eat anybody. If I was a vampire, it wouldn't bother me. That's why I don't tell when Michael Danger said, you know what, I'm having this.
Mm.
He's got star, absolutely stunning with that 80s perm. You know, she wouldn't look at a place in a White Snake video.
No, she wouldn't.
Do you know what I mean? Without Tawny Catane.
Yeah.
No, fantastic.
The place to live's fantastic.
Yeah.
Got the by the sea.
Yeah.
You got your fair.
It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet.
It is, John.
And it's full of transients. And what I mean by transients, people who've run away and they're just living on the streets. You know, you got free picking there, haven't you?
Yeah.
No one's going to miss them. No one's going to miss them, are they?
Well, yeah. Breakfast, dinner, and tea. Yeah.
Me and him would be the first fat vampires. We would.
We've been fat, John.
I'd try and fly off, and I'd end up fucking belly skimming across the sea. Come on, you bastard! Anyway, on that bombshell, I just want to say thanks for listening to our little vampire special, episode 7. Please leave us some comments, leave us some questions, and we'll give you a bloody great shout out next week, won't we, Neil?
Sure will.
We want you bloody lot to get involved with this podcast. There's not another one like it.
Not just about
anywhere.
Us. Is it, John?
No.
Not just about
it's
us.
about us. We want to bring people in.
We just want people to listen to it and enjoy it. You know what I mean?
And get involved.
Unwind, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have a drink, even a spliff. If you want to have a spliff, and just sit there and listen to the podcast.
But not while you're driving.
Not while you're driving.
Not while you're driving. Do you know what I mean? When you're having a nice deep bath.
Yeah.
I mean, but not in blood or milk.
If like you were listening to it, you're giving these pair on about, all of a sudden something makes you laugh. You always remember that little laugh bit, don't you?
You do.
What you said.
But I should have said this.
That's our aim, John.
I should have said it at the start. Please, you'll find us on all podcast sites. So if you watch this till the end, well bloody done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You'll do for us. But now you can check us out on YouTube as well, so you can actually watch how we deliver these episodes. You know, not many people do that either.
No,
not many people do that either. So there you go. So we're just going to leave it on that little note there, Neil. Neil, you got any last words while I find this little track?
I think let's karaoke on Friday night, John. And I think I might sing a Lost Boys song to
Oh,
dedicate the show. Hey,
you will differ me, I can tell you that.
Mary, Mary, you're
On my mind. I'm Michael Hutchins, shall can be Jimmy Barnes.
Oh, cheers.
Simple as that. Anyway, listen. We got a little saying what we say at the end of every episode. This is to all you ghost catchers, to all you alien spotters, to all you cryptid watchers, and all you head scratchers out there. If you don't find any spirits, just do what we do, Neil. What do we do?
We're drinking them instead.
We'll see you lot either next week or the week after. We don't know yet. We ain't made our minds up. Thanks anyway.
Share this one, Angel.
Share it with your friends. Share it with